Hi Lumineers, welcome to the Lighter Side Show. I'm your host, Jamie Butler, the Everyday Medium. And Lumineers, this is our last show for season 5, but don't worry, we will be back for season 6. Today, Lumineers, we're going to talk about the higher consciousness chakra, which is the last chakra in our little series that we have in season 5. But don't worry, we will always be talking more about chakras. Before we dive into the higher consciousness, let's talk about what's happening over here. Guys, what we have coming up is Advanced Mediumship class, which is live in person at the Center for Love and Light here in Atlanta, Georgia. And we also have the Reiki Mastership coming up, which is also in person. But if you can't make it to Atlanta, maybe you can make it to Kamloops, Canada, because we're going to be there in June. Check out jamiebutlermedium.com and sign up for the newsletter. Everything is listed in there, where we are, what's happening, what the dates are, what the costs are. And Lumineers, we have a cute new little thing coming up, which is called Dinner with the Dead. Our wonderful Natsumi, who is a clean, organic, vegan chef, is going to create the meal while you sit around in a small, intimate setting while I trance channel the dead. Isn't that going to be fun? I think it's a wonderful idea. Okay, let's get into the higher consciousness chakra. So in this series, I'm coming in for a short time where I'm going to be talking about if the chakra has too much energy, not enough energy, or just right, how that affects that particular chakra. And then we're going to let Spirit come in and give their perspective on what that chakra does for our human existence, our body, our character and personality. All right, Lumineers, let's talk about the higher consciousness chakra. Now, this is a chakra that a lot of people don't really kind of bring to the conversation. We're not that aware of it because it doesn't rest in the main body. The higher consciousness chakra is located about 2 feet above your head. A quick and easy way to kind of get the area where it is to raise one arm straight above your head and then turn your fingers in on top of your head, over your head, and tickle it. So it's about right there. Now, this chakra, even though it's not in our physical body, is still the same size, about 2 inches around. Here we go. Props, y'all. I really like this imagery a lot, and I would love, Lumineers, every time you think about a chakra, that the golf ball image pops up, even the little divots in there, because all these little divots to me represent the tiny little vortexes inside that chakra that connect energetically all the life force that's around you to the physical body. And that's still happening even when the chakra is in your etheric field or your energetic field and not located inside the physical body. It is still taking energy and connecting it to the physical existence. Okay, so let's kind of talk about higher consciousness chakra is traditionally white. Its big lesson here is all about divine love, divine wisdom, but more importantly, it's the selflessness. It is being selfless, which is similar to self first. Maybe we can talk about that in a moment. But what happens when your higher consciousness chakra, way above your head, is too large, that means it has too much of that like energy and it swells up, let's say to the size of an orange, a grapefruit, a watermelon, just larger than what it's needed, then it's going to block and change the way that it's functioning for us. And it can be a real big burden. What happens when we have too much energy up there is you end up not really being into your body. Like, I'm talking outer body experience. I'm not talking about, I can't ground myself and I feel really dreamy, or I'm just kind of checking out every now and then I come to. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking out of your body, like you are zombie walking and you can't get out of the patterns that you've created. You can't really, connect to what's happening. This also creates a very deep disconnect to life. Kind of got quiet after I said that. It's really sad. This happens because when we have so much of that energy, you think about it, it's the lens that kind of plops down over your eyes and changes your perspective. And it constantly brings up the integrity, the morals, the memories of life beyond. So if you can imagine right now that you do obtain memory from the beyond, from the in-between, from heaven, call it what you want, from that space that you were not human, and that there are a set characteristics there, that it's unconditional, it's all loving, there's no sadness, there's no pain, there's extreme peace, okay, all of that. And then you get into a human body. We don't live like that because we're in a world of duality. We have that duality so that we can measure and understand where we are in time and space. So if your higher consciousness chakra is way too big, that lens that's coming down is your behaviors and your characteristics of whom you are when you're in the beyond. And so now you're going to look around at other people and wonder why they're so mean. Why is this world not working? Why aren't, these people sharing what they really feel? You're going to be reacting from whom you were in the beyond, but you're living in a different dimension, and there's a huge collision there. It's not gonna work well. It really sucks to be there. When there's an abundant amount of white energy in the higher consciousness chakra to kind of lessen that load, the recipe you would use is its complementary color, which would be black. And I know most of you Lumineers are like, wait, black energy? That's not good. I don't think so. I'm not going to put that into my energetic field. But think of it like a black velvet cloth, something that absorbs the light, that helps you stay grounded, that kind of gets you into that zippered body of luggage that we have since we've incarnated. Think of it that way. Because then when you give the complementary color, it kind of diffuses all that bright light, gets it down to where it's more manageable, and then we can fall back into connecting to that energy rather than having it kind of blanket us, absorb us. So when I'm talking about using that black velvet energy, you can also think of it as your earth chakra. Remember, we did that very, very first in this series. It's located at your feet and it connects you to the earth. It's really big and grounding. So if you're having a hard time thinking of that black energy, think of the earth chakra and kind of bringing it up and dosing it to the higher consciousness chakra to help bring you back into balance. Now, what if there's not enough energy in the higher consciousness chakra? Like it's really tiny, smaller than a golf ball, maybe the size of a pea, and you're working with that. That's not great either, guys. This is never good to run on empty. So what happens, I did write my notes, so I have everything here, is that you tend to live life through the patterns that you create. Like you can't get out of it. Talking about a vicious cycle. Not enough energy up there to power you to even have the concept or the idea to get out of what you're doing. So you just like hang on to it. You become the comfort creature. I'm just going to do this over and over again because I don't know any better. I'm pacifying myself. It is the routine queen right there. You can end up despondent, disheartened, and especially trouble in connecting with faith or belief systems. So if you're walking around going, I don't care, just what's going to happen is just what's going to happen. I'm not going to invest any of my energy or my thought energy, which sometimes is labeled as a belief, into the situation because, hell, it's just going to be whatever it's going to be. Totally disconnected to it. That's too little white energy in your higher consciousness chakra. When the chakra is not big enough, you can add more white energy to it. And again, when we talk about adding color, adding energy to your system, you can do that through visualization. You can do that through affirmations, through imagination. You can do it with music. You can pretend. You can hold a stone, a rock that has the same vibration or the opposing vibration if that's what you're doing. We talked about earth energy, white. So if this is all sounding confusing to you and you're like, Jamie, that recipe that you're talking about is just like crazy, it's all written down in one place for you guys. Don't worry. So you can find it on the chakra chart. We have that over at jamiebutlermedium.com if you're really one of those hands-on people and you like to have it and you like to see it written down. So you can follow the white. You can notice it has the black, the brown energy there. And then you come down to the earth chakra and you can see all the foods, aromatherapies, affirmations, and you could use those. So that is a quick and easy way to help, just remind you that this is the way that you can use energy. It doesn't all have to be about extreme focus, a heavy change in lifestyle. And it doesn't have to happen in some deep meditation. Like we're busy these days. I think you get it, right? You're living your life. So let's keep it easy. Look at the chart. All right, let's talk about what happens when your higher consciousness chakra is just perfect, where it looks like this, but maybe a little bit more white and a little bit more shiny, but this is what it is, way up here. Sometimes I feel like Mr. Rogers when I have like props and stuff like that. I love that man. You know, I haven't met him in spirit yet, but maybe one day I will. Anyways, if it's just right, you become the center of divine love, divine wisdom, and divine perception. Doesn't that sound great? The key emotion here is bliss. Have you had those moments, Lumineers? You just get into something and you're totally blissful no matter what happens to you that day. Nothing can knock you down. That's it. That's perfect, balanced, white energy in your higher consciousness chakra. And bliss is what I'm feeling right now, having the opportunity to be in front of you guys and talk intimately about the chakra system. And again, if you want to know more, we do have videos on YouTube, jamiebutlermedium.com. They're a little outdated. You'll see my hair is really short. It's silly, but anyways, you can go there to learn more. You can buy the chakra chart, but I encourage you, keep learning about your energetic system. Now we're going to let Spirit come in and talk to you about the higher consciousness chakra. And for now, I will sign off for season 5. Thank you so much, Lumineers, for being here and making this possible. Please get the word out. Share with a friend, family member, anyone. We're here for you guys. Thank you so much. And remember, it's not woo-woo, it's true. Bye.
Welcome back, Lumineers. I'm Colleen Ziegler, and I am here with Grace, channeled by Jamie Butler. And today we are going to be discussing the higher consciousness chakra. Welcome, Grace.
Thank you. Isn't this where you describe what the higher consciousness chakra is?
This is something really new to me. It is, I'm just going to be honest, I know it's on Jamie's chakra chart, and I know it's one of the 9 chakras that she talks about, but it is really new to me. So I want you to introduce that.
Well, I would love to. Okay. But rightfully so, a lot of people don't put focus on this chakra. Mm-hmm. It's a bit out of reach, and it's not a traditional chakra that we use on a day-to-day basis in our consciousness, even though it's called higher consciousness. When you're navigating your day-to-day life, you're mostly maneuvering those 7 main chakras within your physical body. When we talk about the earth chakra, yes, it is in the feet, but it is not in the main systems of your physical body, such as the nervous system, circulatory, and so forth, and so on. Now, the higher consciousness chakra is so far beyond your, let's call it your first layer of energy, your first layer of energetic defense, your fuel, that it's in your etheric body. So what it is doing, it is bridging your 4D and above into your 3D, into your third dimensional world. So it is a translator of sorts. You can imagine those apps that you have, which you type in what you want to say in a foreign language, and then it just spits it out to you, and the other person's able to translate it. So what we can do as spirit, as guide, as angels, as God's source, we take the energy we want you to absorb, to understand, to use, whether it is for purely message or support, or whether it's for healing. And we place that energy in the higher consciousness chakra, and it will then translate and bring it down into your physical being so that you may use it and absorb it.
Oh, interesting.
Do you like it's your coffee filter in your machine?
Yes. I love the how you describe that, the visuals that you presented.
We can also take it in the reverse.
Okay.
So here you are in your awake state, and you're processing information that maybe you don't quite understand. Right? And so when we are looking at I say we as I'm pretending to be present and in a body, when you are not processing information, you are it looks energetically as if you're tossing it out like trash. You toss it out for somebody else to receive. It's almost like fishing, where you throw your line out and you wait for the nibble, and then the fish comes to you, and you all of a sudden have a new relationship with it. And so you're bringing what you just put out in, and it looks different. So when you're not processing something accurately, you are tossing bits of it out like a little tantrum. Somebody else is picking it up in their energetic field, and then they're bringing it back to you so that you see it again, right? You are always going to receive what you put out. And when people are approaching you, situations are approaching you, animals are approaching you, a certain plant that is approaching you, they are mirroring you. So when you're throwing these things out because you can't process them, you're also throwing them up. What this does is it uses your chakra system, and you translate, I don't want to use the word translate, you morph the energetic vibration of what you cannot comprehend, and you switch it and you change it like a computer does, decoding it, trying to find its place.
And when you're saying something we can't comprehend, is it something energetically we can't comprehend? Is it something emotionally that we can't comprehend? What are we talking about there as far as like what?
Thank you. I like all of that.
Yeah.
Well, you can't comprehend energetically, logically, emotionally, or maybe what you can't solve physically. Like if somebody is in a pain pattern and they really can't get out of that pain, and they feel like they've exhausted all of their efforts, and therefore they're left with a result they don't want and no avenues to take. So some of you would call it a roadblock. But you're still approaching it because you know you don't want to keep the pain. So your efforts, there's a better word than loose. They're not connected. And so it looks as if they're tossed.
Like dangling?
Like dangling.
Because they are connected, but they're not.
Yes,
is that how,
they're not
that's how I'm
working.
picturing it. Okay.
And so your energetic field, its job is to absorb and read the energy around the layers, the wavelengths, the particles, the space in between, all of that, and to get the information out of it. So what you can't use anymore because you don't understand or can't connect to, your energy is naturally going to shift it and try to decode it and figure it out and figure it out. And it will start low, and it will bring it all the way up your chakra system, and it will push it to the higher consciousness chakra, because now it can't manage it within this 3D world. It can't find its source, or it can't find its solution. So you toss it out. It goes up and it translates.
I'm seeing this in my head, and how does that, or what role does the higher consciousness chakra play with our higher self? Is there any connection there?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Think of your.
I'm almost seeing it as our higher self single chakra.
Is
that it? Okay.
You can. A lot of people like the visual of the higher consciousness being the foot chakra for the higher self.
Okay, so, one more time.
If you could imagine,
okay,
your higher self above your head,
okay,
and the feet are resting right on your higher consciousness chakra.
Got it.
And so the higher self is the one who has all the knowledge and all the connection to all the incarnations that you've chosen. And your higher consciousness chakra, or your higher crown, is the one who's linking you to those experiences. So of course, what you can't solve in this life, you want to have a different perspective, have a different connection and a way of looking at it. And it's very sound that you would take that energy and push it up to translate it through the higher consciousness chakra. And your coffee smells very good. It tastes really good.
Wow. I completely understand your description to all of this, but like visualizing all of it is mind-blowing. It really is.
I don't think we give the energetic field enough credit for what it does. I think now that it's been in some of the mainstream conversations, we see the energetic field as being the layers of our light. and we say that's fine. It's like your jawbreaker candy.
And
like
chakra talk is becoming a lot more mainstream.
Chakra.
That's what I'm,
That's delightful.
right? I mean, you
Chakra
hear
talk.
about those words are thrown around a lot more. And I know in our world, of course, we're going to hear it more than other people, but I feel like even in mainstream, people are starting to understand chakras a little bit better.
Great. I hope that understanding expands more into the energetic field, because there's a lot happening out there.
Yeah.
I could compare what happens outside of your physical body like the weather on Earth.
Okay.
Most of you are attuned to the weather because you step outside and you say, okay, this is the way the wind is blowing. This is the temperature. This is how it feels now. It's like a snapshot of now. But if we look at the whole picture, there are currents and heat and temperature and changes happening all over. Your energetic body is just like that.
So is it that the higher consciousness chakra is the control center for all the other chakras? Does it work that way?
So much like the pituitary gland is the orchestrator of the endocrine system. Is that what you mean?
Yeah, I like that comparison.
I would say yes, on an energetic level.
Okay.
The higher consciousness is the one that is, it's connecting you from here where you are to there and multidimensional levels. But it's also helping all the other chakras stay clean, process their information. It's receiving everything informational that the others cannot process.
Okay.
That happens when the person is actively searching.
Okay.
When the person is not actively searching for that information and they've thrown it out, it's come back to them, it's mirrored to them, and they've just shut it down for whatever cause, it's not going to subconsciously or unknowingly shift up and process.
So it's not going to activate the same way. Okay, let's take just a group of 15 people.
Okay.
We go to Whole Foods and we grab 15 different people. I'm just saying that because we just came back.
Is there a big enough variety then?
There's a variety. There's a variety. And, we take a little bit, some have some spiritual background, some have maybe some more religious background, some are atheists, some, take a bunch. Would you say that as a whole, most of them are going to have somewhat activated 7 chakras, whether it be your solar plexus, your throat? But when it comes to the higher consciousness chakra, we're not looking at everyone having an activated one. I'm just going to use the word activated. So it's something that almost we have to consciously think about.
Correct.
Or know about to utilize.
Correct. Like good posture.
Where I can be someone who doesn't believe in chakras at all, and I still am going to have them, and they're still going to be working.
Correct.
Okay. But not with the higher consciousness.
It will still be working. There's no off button.
Okay.
But to use its resources, you must be aware of the resources.
Got it.
It's like having a gold mine above your head. But if you don't know it's there, you're not going to receive the gold. But it's still going to exist and function as that.
And we all have access to that. So that's what you just shared with us. We all have a gold mine over our heads.
Absolutely. I think the driving message here is that when you choose to incarnate as a human, your willingness to only focus on what you possess in your physical body is heightened, and you release your connection to that beyond you. And that gives you that false illusion of independence, separation, being a standalone. And as soon as you engage with a higher consciousness chakra, which is as simple as saying to yourself, sit up, I need better posture. Like, we don't need to call in an expert, a guru, a meditation, a healing, anything of that nature. All of your chakras belong to you. All of them are working for you. It is simply about bringing it into consciousness, into your awake state, thinking and emotional process. And then that will allow you to have more use,
Mm.
more downloads, more spiritual messages, more sense of divine love, divine purpose, divine wisdom, divine perspection, so that you can then see everything that is around you, amongst you, at its greatest purpose. So I say to you now, sit up. Allow it to work for you. What are you thinking now?
I'm just thinking
About your posture?
You said sit up so many times. I'm very conscious of my posture right now. I feel like I need to put like a book on my head. You know what I was thinking about when you were saying all that is not only knowing that within us, but knowing that everyone that we're with in a room, in a building, on the streets is all the same as far as all those chakras and the higher consciousness, and recognizing that within themselves too, and that we all truly are these beings of light and spiritual beings. And if we can recognize that within all of us, just the difference in communication that we would all have. That's what I was thinking about.
I think that's a beautiful way to end this. Lumineers, thank you for being here and helping us wrap up season 5 of the Lighter Side show. We hope to see you for season 6.
Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me. Be well.
It's not woo-woo, it's true.
Oh, yes.
With